He compliments Pikachu's electric sax.
That's very personal,
If a stranger
Tracey.
pops up and compliments your sax, run the other direction. Hey, you at home. Do you want to make millions of dollars a day sitting on the couch and doing nothing?
I do.
Well, you probably can't. But
Aw.
there are tons of new exploding careers in the Pokemon universe that we're learning all about, and this stuff is wild. So, welcome to Kill A Delibird, the Pokemon Rewatch podcast, where we rewatch anime episodes of Pokemon, compare it to literature, have a bunch of fun, blah, 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 and, have some laughs along the way. This week, we're learning about the new kinds of careers, trades, whatever they are, the new roles in the Pokemon universe that are really blowing my mind, and we're going to get into that in a bit. So, I'm Graham, co-host of the podcast, who doesn't know a lot about Pokemon, but I'm learning along the way. I try to bring like literary, manga, anime, video games into the picture, and some improv comedy, and just have some fun. My co-host Kellen is the Pokemaniac, knows a ton about Pokemon, and can recite the entire Zorbies ad by Billy Mays off by memory. Kellen, how you doing?
Zorbies attracts liquid like a magnet.
Like a magnet.
It doesn't matter if it's coffee, soda, even red wine. Watch as its powerful vacuum action pulls and cleans the stain from out of the carpet. Just
oh my
act quick.
goodness.
Yes, I can do that. Hello.
It absorbs like a magnemite.
Yeah, go check out the full TikTok on my TikTok.
Yeah, Hydroleech's TikTok
Some
channel.
fucker took Hydroleech. So.
Oh, really? That's why you're like, well, I'll just be multiple Hydroleeches.
I'll just be multiple of them, yeah. Anyway, yeah, blame Doug for that one. If you're a Doug fan, you know how to recite Zorbies from memory. That's how you spot us in the wild.
Right. For those who don't know, Doug is a Twitch streamer and YouTuber. My favorite thing he's done is the fast food game thing,
so
the fast food challenge. I think that was genius. So it's this challenge. Have we talked about this on the podcast? We might have.
No.
Where you drive around and you're going to go to you're going to try to hit, say, 10 fast food joints. And what you do is you're going through the drive-thru and you just say, I'll have what they're having. Point at the car ahead. You have to repeat their order and then you got to eat it all. So it's like a squad of 4 people and you see how many of these you can do. And it's such a hype game because it's a roguelike. It is really a roguelike where you're doing a run and the randomness of the game really is going to affect what you get. So one of the rules is that one of the spots has to be KFC because the
bucket.
threat of a bucket is such a giant task, right? It's the moon from Majora's Mask looming over you the entire time. The bucket threat.
I watched the whole I'll have what he's having stream live as it was happening, and I gotta tell you that energy that whole time was incredible. The bucket moment, unmatched. So good.
Spoilers, when Doug chugs the gravy, that was when my respect for him went way up. Or down, depending on how you view
Doug
it.
is my top inspiration for my own content. He's so good at what he does, and it's incredible.
I'd also shout out some of the streams that he kicked off then were really good too. I watched the Fear and podcast did one. I think it was on Will Neff's channel. They did a response, which was good. And then they challenged Ludwig and the boys from the Yard, and they did one on Ludwig's channel. Both are really entertaining because it's such a hype game.
I would love to do it, but also that would be really bad for me, and I absolutely should not do that.
I've thought of doing it too, but if you don't have a big channel, there's no point.
Yeah.
It is not worth it because you're right. It is damaging. I think it's actually damaging.
Yeah. Don't chug gravy, people. Disclaimer. Don't be doing that. That's not good for you.
No, it is
way
not.
Too much sodium.
So we're deep in Orange Islands, eh? No, we're not deep at all.
If you want to call 3 episodes deep, yes, then you're correct.
We're not deep at all, actually, because this third episode, it's still set up. We're still getting introduced to what the Orange Islands arc is going to be all about.
We literally just landed on the Orange Islands at the end of last episode.
Yeah, it took 2 episodes to get there. So we're going to be discussing episodes 85, Pokeball Peril, and episode 86, The Lost Lapras. So how are your feelings about kind of what we've seen so far of Orange Islands?
Well, I liked these episodes.
Yep,
Especially the first one. I thought the first one was really good. It's good setup. We meet some interesting characters. One that will stay with us for the season, and it's a good setup. That's pretty much all I really have to say as a general thought.
This is a setup episode. Like for TCAD reviewing these 2 episodes, we're still building the foundation that is going to be Orange Islands.
Yeah.
Like we're plowing the field. Like we don't even get to planting the seeds or fertilizing. This is all field plowing.
we're in the field. They're doing the thing with the soil, whatever it's called. I don't go outside,
the hoe.
So I don't. The hoe.
We're hoeing,
stuff.
just hoeing around.
Yep.
But we're not in hoeing.
Nah.
What, do you not like jokes today?
I like good jokes.
Burn. Nice. I thought you would just happen to wake up in a parallel universe from me where comedy didn't exist. You're in a comedy-less dimension.
I'm not in Germany, if that's what you're getting at.
Oh, fire. Like to imagine our one German fan just yelling at the mic right now.
Hey, we're half German. We can make that joke.
Scheiße.
What's your what do you got for us today, Graham? What's your thing gonna be?
Well, okay, so it's all about this character Tracey. So spoilers,
Yep.
But in episode 86, The Lost Lapras, we learn about this character named Tracey.
Tracey Sketchit.
Tracey Sketchit. Yeah. What do you have I guess we'll talk about our feelings towards Tracey later on. But Tracey is introduced to us as a Pokemon watcher. Okay? This really got my gears going because we've been introduced to various roles in this universe, right? So Pokemon professor, okay?
Trainers,
and
breeders.
They teach us about trainers. Brock is a breeder, and they'll throw in whatever they want, right? Like there are all of these. I don't even know what to call them because they're not exactly professions, but they are vocations. They are like weird life callings that you devote yourself to. Right? Like you can't do something a little bit, you go all in. And so people like become this title. And Tracey is a Pokemon watcher, which means he like draws pictures of Pokemon and like measures them and shit. I don't what exactly is a Pokemon watcher?
Well, he watches for behavior and like goes out to discover new Pokemon stuff. Basically watches them in their native habitats, I think.
Right, but he's not a researcher. Right? It's like
I guess
he's not a Pokemon professor. He is a watcher.
Maybe watcher is like a step or two down from professor. It's kind of like the starting stages.
That would be more realistic and practical and kind of more interesting. But for the sake of this following bit, it's fucking weird.
You know, Graham, in a way, technically, we're kind of Pokemon watchers.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you think Tracey is like the viewer?
Maybe.
Except
Tracey, if you're watching, shout us out in the comments.
Tracey, do you listen to the podcast? You like it? You could do our fan art.
That'd
be nice. That'd be nice.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Incredible.
But so what Pokemon Watcher got me thinking of is like, what other weird Pokemon roles could they throw at us? So, and I knew that it would be, when I started thinking of that, I started making a list of Pokemon roles, and I was like, you know what? It's going to be too easy to make ones that I bet you they actually have later on. Because I'm guessing that we're introduced to people in future episodes that are like, a Pokemon fashion designer, a Pokemon doctor, like all kinds of stuff, right? That are fairly imaginable. So I tried to think of roles that do not come up in the anime. I tried to think of the dumbest Pokemon professions that do not come up in the anime. And if you are aware of them, call me out, okay?
Sounds
good.
So
this is top 10 stupid Pokemon professions.
Hit it.
Number 10, a Pokemon sniffer. Could you imagine someone joining them that's like, I'm a Pokemon sniffer. I just love smelling Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just give me a whiff of that Diglett, bro.
I feel like that person should be like in jail.
It's kind of like a foot fetish where you're like, it's not illegal, but it weirds me out, and I don't know why. Right?
Yeah.
Technically, it's not that bad, but it's bugging me, and I don't know why. It's making me uncomfortable.
Number 9.
Number 9, a Pokemon bologna tosser. This is someone who follows them around and tosses slices of bologna on the Pokemon.
I love videos of people throwing deli meats on their pets. That's so stupid.
I think that's what inspired this. Yeah, you're bringing up a core memory.
You throw a piece of ham on your cat, and they'll do some weird shit.
And it could be funny for that to happen to Pokemon as well.
And then they'll eat the ham, and they're fine with it, so it's fine.
It's a win-win because we get laughs and they get ham.
Yep.
Right, number 8, a Pokemon dancer. They go around trying to dance with the Pokemon to have the greatest dance ever.
Yeah,
the goal
some people
is
probably
to
do
dance with the Arceus.
I wouldn't be surprised if in a future episode we meet the ballroom champion Pokemon
who
division.
dances with Pokemon. I know that is the most likely one. If someone in the comments knows, call me out. Call me out. Do it. Just do it. I don't care.
Number 7.
7. A Pokemon slapper. Okay, this
No,
is kind of like
don't do that.
Baloney tosser, but they just follow the gang around and go, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Boom. To the various Pokemon. Now, they would end up in jail.
Yeah, that does not sound
which is why
legal.
which leads nicely into my next one, number 6. A Pokemon parole officer. Okay, but this is for the Pokemon. All right, they want to be the greatest parole officer ever. They're with the gang, but it's like their Pokemon. They're not training them. They're keeping an eye on them. Right? It's like a Hitmonchan who gotten one too many backstreet brawls. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep an eye on them.
Number 5?
Yes. Are you ready for something extremely stupid? Number 5.
Always.
A Pokemon, have you heard the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise speaker?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Right, and he just wants to do that meme to as many Pokemon as possible. I imagine that when he says this too, he like grabs the Pokemon kind of like by the shoulder and neck, sort of like in that creepy meme of the like boyfriend at the sports game telling the girl something, you know?
Oh yeah. And she's completely disinterested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babe. Have you heard the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise? All right, number 4.
Number 4.
Well, it's been a while since I've been gross. A Pokemon crop duster.
What?
You know what crop dusting is? You don't. You don't know what crop dusting is, do you?
In are you talking like real life or like a euphemism?
A euphemism. It's when you like fart on someone while you're walking. It's like a drive-by fart.
I have never heard that term.
I'm more prairie than you.
Apparently.
Pokemon.
I don't go outside.
So they want to land a juicy fart in as many Pokemon as possible. That one's also kind of weird.
How is that a career?
How are any of these careers, but how is Pokemon Watcher a career? They're just like vocations that people one day like dedicate themselves to. They just like wake up and like, I am a Pokemon Watcher. I'm going to look at as many Pokemon as possible.
Maybe we should model our world after the Pokemon world, because people seem to just be able to do whatever they want with no care or regard to money. And they can just be whoever they want to be.
The downside, the monkey paws thing to this, though, is that you seem to have to go all in on it, right?
Yeah.
It has to become your fucking life. And like, I don't know about you, but I talk about cartoons on the internet, and this is not my this is not my main thing. I like having a bunch of different things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to just be a Pokemon watcher 24/7.
Yeah, but how easy would that be? It'd be great.
I mean, fun and adventure are waiting for you. And there'd be lots of fun and adventure in number 3. A Pokemon exorcist. Now, this one I would really like to see the anime actually do, where a companion for Ash is like a priest who is looking for demons inside of the Pokemon. Like, how batshit crazy would his side stories be?
That'd be pretty good. I would be into that.
The power of Christ compels you.
The power of Arceus compels you.
Well, the Pokemon's head spins around and it throws up. Yeah, exactly.
Number 2.
Okay, now this one, you might actually not be familiar with the real world connection here, all right? But the gang member would be a Pokemon Blood Boy. Now, do you know what a Blood Boy is?
No.
I learned it from the TV show Silicon Valley. I'm not 100% sure if it's real, but people do claim that it is. And it's this thing that weird California CEOs who are obsessed with youth, what they'll do is they'll hire like a young, fit person to be their blood boy, where they do blood transfusions with this person like every couple months to like try to get their blood and maintain youth.
Yeah, give me some Machamp blood in here.
Yeah, exactly. This person's like collecting. They're either collecting all the blood or giving their blood to a bunch of Pokemon. I don't know which. Collecting would be pretty funny, and then they do like an arc where it's like if they transfuse in the Pokemon's blood, they like get their powers for a bit. It's like it can breathe fire.
I feel like the children's show would not incorporate Pokemon blood transfusions.
Well, who knows? I think you're right, but who knows?
With over 1,000 episodes, you gotta jump the shark somewhere.
All right. Now, number one. The number one top strange Pokemon vocation. So last Saturday, we did a live stream on the Hydraleech Twitch channel where we played a board game, Pokemon Master Trainer. And I was vocal that it fucking sucked, but it had potential. It has potential. It's a great time. The game's got potential. It's just got so much RNG. And that's what I realized what the Pokemon universe really needs. A Pokemon board game designer. They need a gang member that follows them around and creates board games based on the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The adventures.
I've always wanted to make a good, really complicated board game, like a la Cones of Dunshire.
Right? I think that's like
really complicated.
Every nerd's dream.
You'll roll 6 dice to see how many dice you roll. That gets me every fucking time.
That is amazing. You forgot the essence. It's in the
cones.
About the
cones. Okay.
Yeah, let's get into Orange Island
Pokemon
Mayhem.
Board games, yes.
Pokemon Peril, episode 85.
Pokeball Peril.
Pokeball Peril.
Episode 85, which has a title screen error. Pokeball is misformatted. Pokeball is 2 words, not 1.
Really?
Tisk.
Pokeball is 2 words.
Yep.
Oh, but it's supposed to be 1? Or
No, it's Pokeball is officially formatted as 2 words, but the title screen has it as 1 word.
Maybe they were still figuring it out.
Yeah.
85 episodes in.
So we start off this episode with previously on Pokemon. We're getting that a lot lately. So we skip over that. We just crash landed on Valencia Island. That's what you need to know.
Yeah, that's
it is hot as ass out, man. But they gotta get to Ivy's lab. None of them know where this is though. And so Pikachu points out what looks like a cool looking Pokemon Center. It's like all straw based. It's neat.
Yeah. I don't know what theme it's supposed to be looking for. I don't know if that's like a Hawaiian architecture.
I think it's Hawaiian.
I think it might be.
I think.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool.
It's
some kind of like Pacific island.
Tropical thing, yeah. Seeing this, Brock, of course, wonders, I wonder if there are any Nurse Joys in the Orange Islands, which there are, and he loves it. He's into this. This Joy is the second cousin of the sister-in-law of the Saffron City Joy. So they're not even related.
Not blood related, right?
No.
Second cousin of the sister-in-law, which makes me even more convinced that they're clones. How did they look identical with no relation?
Just really, really strong genes from the ancestors from like 2,000 years ago.
Are you saying they're a race? The Joys are a race.
That would make sense. It would make more sense.
Or like a species?
Yeah.
The Joys came here from outer space. They landed in the year.
You can't tell me that's not how it works.
No, okay, anime.
We haven't gotten confirmation
anime
either
watchers, way. Do they ever do an episode with the country of the Joys? Like a nation of Joys?
This Joy knows where the lab is. It's the giant white building that you can't miss unless you're Ash and the gang. And so we go to the lab. No one seems to be home until Pikachu gets smacked in the face by a trapdoor and 3 similar-looking girls with big glasses and nasally voices emerge. Take them to Professor Ivy, who was working in the bay.
So, okay, these 3 girls who pop out of the trapdoor in the floor, I did not know what to refer to them as shorthand, so I just kept writing the nerds. I don't know, they're just stereotypical nerds.
They are.
Big glasses and nasally voices.
I'm pro nerd, so I don't mean anything by that.
We better be pro nerd. We're talking about Pokemon on the internet, Graham.
Oh my god, I'm having a crisis.
That means nerd.
Am I a nerd?
No.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. Yeah, they just, I don't know, they have that, like, a Steve Urkel vibe. Like, so, like, they're not, like, real-world nerds, they're TV nerds.
Got any cheese?
Exactly. Did I do that?
Did I do that?
That's like the 4th time we've referenced Steve Urkel on this podcast, I think.
I
We do that too much.
I think that there's...
or not enough.
I'm a sitcom simp, I think, at the end of the
Sitcoms
day.
are good.
I just go
Classic
back to
sitcoms
them.
are great.
I wouldn't say, like, I haven't seen Family Matters in, like, 20 years at least. It's
Mhm.
part of the canon. It's part of
Yeah.
the universal language of pop culture. And plus, Jaleel White was the voice of 90s Sonic, and I think that's rad.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't
I
know
didn't-
that? He
I
was
didn't know that, no.
the 90s cartoon English voice for Sonic.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that
Good
sick?
for him.
Yeah, good for him.
So they go out to the bay, and they think they're about to get
Down
attacked
by
by
the
Gyarados.
bay, where the gang goes.
They think they're about to get attacked by a Gyarados, but Ivy is just training it. She's just training some of her Pokemon. Brock wants her to train him.
Oh, that was a horny
Oh.
Brock line if I've ever
Big
heard
horny
one.
Brock line.
They're like, oh, she's training that Gyarados. She can train me any day if you know what I mean. I was like, wow, that was like very on the nose for a horny Brock moment.
They may as well have made his eyes pop out of his head.
Yeah, like Animaniacs. Hello, nurse. I do want to highlight, though, Ivy's, like, cool animation moment. So, like, the nerds on the beach are like, hey, Ivy. And then she, like, rides in on the Gyarados and, like, flips and, like, catches her lab coat in the air and lands.
It's
like,
pretty sweet.
I'm Professor Ivy.
Ivy's a badass. Ivy's awesome.
Yeah, she is a badass. I agree. Like, you describe Ivy, it looks like she's not an older woman. Like, Oak is like older. She's like probably like mid-30s is like the vibe I would get. And ambitious, smart, not cold. Like, how would you say? But like kind of like has like a dry seriousness, but a little sarcastic. You can see a twinkle behind her eye. Yeah, cool character. Yeah.
Good character.
Is she an anime only character?
Yes. I think so.
I would imagine so, because this whole arc is anime only. All right, so we go back. The gang follows Ivy, like, whatever. They're at her lab, and this is like, remember that the whole point was that they're running an errand where there's this Pokeball they got to get back. So they are taught about this magical, mysterious, we don't know if it's magic. It's a mysterious Pokeball. It's gold and silver. It's got the letters GS on it. And
gold and silver?
So that's a tease, right? That was the next game to come out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be a tease. I don't know what the secret is with this ball yet.
I do.
I'm guessing it contains the Declaration of Independence.
Yes, you got it. That is it. That's correct.
I nailed it.
I think in the course of the anime, we'll never actually know what the secret is.
Get the fuck out. Really?
I think they forget about it at some point.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But it's the whole MacGuffin for this arc.
It's a thing in this arc, and then I don't quote me on this, but I think at the end of this arc, Oak's like, take this to Johto, to Kirk, the Pokeball Master, and they do so, and then we never see it again.
Oh my god, so they pull a Pidgeotto on it.
Yeah, they pull a Pidgeot.
Wow.
For the second time. It's awesome. It's great. I love it.
You like that?
It's so funny.
That they start threads and then just say like, fuck it.
It's so funny. It's great. It's terrible, but it's great. I love it.
I'm so much less invested in this ball now.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you.
All right. Well, whatever. So the ball can't be transported.
Yeah, they don't know shit about this thing.
Pokeball transportation methods. And then we get this cool segment with Ivy and the nerds. They're talking about how they tried to open it. So they tried buzzsaws, hammers, crowbars, hacksaws, power drills, lasers. None of it worked.
Nothing's working. They cannot get it open. So Oak's the guy for the job now. If anyone can crack this thing, it's going to be Professor Oak. And we go to him. He's studying a Magikarp when the phone rings. And Ash shows him the
call
GS
from
ball.
Ash.
And Oak and Ivy exchange pleasantries about their recent reports that I did not write down.
They pump each other's tires. Yeah, it kind of lost me too. He's like, oh, Ivy, I read your preliminary report about adaptive variation as functions of regional distribution. And Ivy was like, I didn't get Ivy's at all, but she said something back. She's like, your anthropology something paper and blah, blah, blah biases was fascinating. And Ash is just like seriously bored. But they're
idea what's going on.
They're complimenting each other a ton. I'm guessing they just like peer review each other's papers. They got a little bit of a factory mill going on.
That makes
sense. A little bit of a
sense.
paper mill.
All the professors around the world. That would make sense. So meanwhile, Team Rocket is crying over the broken blimp. Jesse tells them to get to work fixing it. James retorts with, "But Jesse, I don't know how to work."
Get to work. I don't know anything about work.
She reminds them, though, that the twerps have round-trip tickets, so they'll be back at some point. This is going to be their second chance at catching Pikachu.
Get to work and fix it.
More like their 80th chance that they have fucked up.
Yeah, their second. Okay, that's the understatement of the century.
Back to the lab, Ivy is showing the gang around the lab grounds where all of the Pokemon are raised and studied. It's very, very expansive. And we see a Vileplume that has different flower patterns on it than the Vileplume that we know and love from Kanto.
Would you call this a regional variant?
This is definitely the precursor to that. It's the first we see of something similar. It's not so much of a regional variant as what we see in the games, but it is a few steps below that.
There isn't a name for that concept then.
I don't think so.
Where it's like, it's the same Pokemon, it just looks different. Oh, it doesn't even look different. It just like has like it's got like a decal.
Yeah. There is a Pokemon in Gen 6 called Divivyine, who is a butterfly Pokemon that has different patterns on its wings depending on the region, like the real world region in which it's caught.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like that. It's
like depending on like where you are, you as a person playing the game are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and there were like 20 or something forms.
Oh, it'd be like North Africa gets its own version, like West Europe gets its own version, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, sick. That's awesome.
So it's more akin to whatever Vivion's got going on with that than actual regional variants. It's still similar.
Has
similar
any
concepts.
crazy YouTube motherfucker done a Vivillon challenge where they fly around the world?
Probably someone.
Like tens of thousands of dollars or more.
Someone would do that.
Yeah.
And if not, I will. I'll take it on.
That'd be
That'd be great. Ivy explains why all of these Pokemon look slightly different than normal. Most of these Pokemon are just like more saturated in color. It's because of the tropical climate. The difference in environment causes differences in Pokemon. Again, similar to regional variants. And we learn Ivy has bred and raised every single one of these Pokemon. And Brock is so into this. He is so here for this. Ivy's just getting like more and more attractive to him.
I just realized a dark truth to Ivy's claim, though. And I think she's lying. She's either lying or she is a puppet in this thing, or she is a ditto. I guess in all cases,
you
she would be a
think everyone's
lie.
a ditto?
I think, yeah, they're among us. They have infiltrated all parts of society.
The
dittos. They're close to taking over. The government doesn't want you to know. They have evidence.
Oh, you and your ditto.
So the tropical tats, though, of the variants. What other time have we seen something like that?
So
quiz.
Far?
Yes. There was a time where we saw Pokemon that looked the same, except they had like kind of tribal signatures.
Well, there was the giant Alakazam and Gengar.
Not them.
But
the clones in Mewtwo.
Oh, and the clones,
in the Mewtwo movie.
Oh, you think these are all clones?
I think these is where Mewtwo went after the end of Mewtwo Strikes Back. And I think that he's either using Ivy as a front or it's a ditto. She actually didn't exist. He has injected the memory of Ivy in people's minds, like Professor Oak, who sent the kids here.
Jesus.
That is a ploy. This whole island is a setup, man. That'd be wild.
You sound very tinfoil hat-y with this one. But you know what? I'm here for.
You just gotta embrace the truth, man. Don't take what's in front of you for granted. Don't take what they're writing you.
We see a little spooked Butterfree with these yellow wings and a different pattern on them, and it won't eat. They haven't been able to get it to eat, and so Brock like looks at the nutrition list of the food that Ivy and them make for the Pokemon and eats the food, and he's like, "Oh, I got it!" And he goes running off, and we see when he comes back, he's come up with this revolutionary concept of food that tastes good.
Yeah, this was pretty funny. He's like, in my experience, I figured out that Pokemon actually, like, the taste of the food matters to them. It's like, no. And Ivy's like, get out. Really?
Yeah, this is for a very accomplished professor. Ivy. What?
Very accomplished professor. This was a big fat L.
This is a big L. Large L.
Ivy, take the L.
Very sizable L. And so he makes a little seasoning with like some berries and stuff and scatters that around the food, and then Butterfree scarfs it down, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the nerds and Ivy are so impressed. They're like, teach us about this shit. Teach us.
He's like, Butterfree likes sweet things. That's the lesson here.
Yeah. So they
Cool.
and they also kind of like, oh, they're like, are you like a cook then? Like what are we having for dinner, Brock? And
Oh no, because the assistants are like they're begging, and then they're like, oh, we still got to figure out who's gonna make dinner, and that like Brock hears the word dinner, and he's like, whoa,
I'm your guy.
Dinner. I can cook. I can do that. And so they go back to the lab inside the lab,
Right.
and it is a fucking disaster. It is an episode
like
of
the
Hoarders
house
in this
part
place.
of the lab is disgusting. It is our little dump, as they say, and it is nasty. But this terror, this horrible situation, causes Brock to look deep inside of himself, and it engages something that can only be known as Super Brock, where he like gets his maid outfit and just goes berserk, like Super Saiyan, and he just like goes in a straight cooking and cleaning mega mode.
He's being brought back to his days back home in Pewter, where he has to take care of all of his little siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is cute.
Yeah.
Which is a nice throwback.
It's a good character moment. It makes a lot of sense story-wise.
Yeah.
And so as Super Brock, he gets the place pristine. A good meal for Ivy and the assistants. And then
and he's like you said, he's kind of reflecting on his home. Yeah,
it's like home. And so at night, the research team is studying Vileplume when Brock brings them some jelly donuts.
Yeah, some big fat jelly donuts. Glad you noticed those.
Yeah.
Rice balls, people. We're not stupid. We know.
Yeah, they don't actually refer to them as jelly donuts, unfortunately. But they're researching something about pollen and Vileplume using pollen to protect their territory when Eradicate approaches and gets hit by the pollen and gets all paralyzed and shit. So Ivy jumps in to save it, and she gets kind of paralyzed as well. And then Brock runs in.
Ivy kind of pulls an Ash here, where she like uses her heart before her head, you know?
So Brock jumps in to save her, gets the Eradicate to the center. We go to the center where now Ash and Misty have both been woken up, and Ash is doing that thing where he's like really tired and scratching at his chest from under his shirt, which is like a very dude thing to do.
Yeah.
We all do that.
Like the guy scratch my head when I'm tired. I don't know why.
So Eradicate and Ivy will be fine, and
they're healing up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ash and Misty are like, thank God we got woken up for this. This is important. Wow. They'll be fine. Whoop-de-doo.
They don't give a fuck.
They're so tired.
They're so out of it. They're like, what happened?
And so the next day, Ash and Misty are ready to head off. But where's Brock? Where's Brock at? Well, he's fixing the roof. There's a leak in the roof. He's fixing that.
Onyx is helping.
Onyx and Geodude are helping. Apparently, Brock is going to stay behind for a while. He says this ship needs a captain. And he's gonna stay behind and learn about Pokemon every day.
They need my help. Like, this is a place that connects with him, and he's got something to offer.
And he's useful, and it's useful to him. It's a beneficial relationship.
I'm so happy though that they tied his reason to staying to something
other than oh my God, this woman is
and
hot.
Not just like, oh, Ivy is like beautiful and I'm into that.
Yeah. So he's going to stay behind. They say goodbye, including we see all of his Pokemon one last time. Geodude, Onix, Vulpix, Zubat. And Ash says bye, Brocco, which I don't think, Ash, you've ever called him that. Where the hell did that come from?
Brocco's Modern Life. Nailed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And so Ash and Misty question how they're going to get back to Pallet Town. No worries, though. Ash still has the round-trip blimp tickets, but Misty says, we can't get back on that blimp. And Ash is like, oh, yeah, you're right. The food sucked, and they didn't play a movie.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, Ash.
Yeah, good gag, Ash. Not to mention that it was a horrible con scheme by Team Rocket, and it crashed and nearly died.
And so then two regular normal blimp pilots with big mustaches.
Who totally aren't Team Rocket.
Yeah, totally. Push them aboard this new fancy blimp.
It's like the blimp's fixed.
And they take off. Meanwhile, Jigglypuff is there, gets blown away, but somehow is able to manage to hang on. And then these regular normal pilots trap Ash and Misty in a cage. Oh my God, it's Team Rocket. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Regular motto, except Meowth goes, Meowth in flight.
I know that the gang is oblivious to Team Rocket half the time, especially Ash. We've been over that before, but
I will never let it go.
But them not. Okay, like the only blimps on the island were a scam by Team Rocket, and they are not suspicious.
The
Oh, well.
When are they ever suspicious? When they need to be?
I know. It's just how it works.
Yeah. Team Rocket questions where the other twerp is. Where's Brock? And they Ash and Misty explain it, and then Jesse and James and Meowth start like shipping Ash and Misty together. It's very like parent-child relationship, parent-teenager relationship rather.
Oh, like when you like hang out with like a friend
The
of
opposite.
the opposite sex,
Yeah,
and then the parents are like,
ooh,
is that a girlfriend, and you're like,
Worst
this is
thing
putting really uncomfortable pressures on normal platonic relationships, which are actually really important and healthy for people to explore.
Really?
And you're just making it weird.
Yeah. Oh, parents.
Yeah.
They never learn, do they?
No. You
That
try,
generation.
You try so hard, but you just gotta let them be themselves.
Yeah, in the Japanese, instead of being like, "Oh, you two are so cute," they make jokes about how they had to ditch Brock so they could go elope.
Get out, really?
That's good. That's funny.
Oh, but they're jokes. Like they didn't like lean into it.
No. So in this cage, Ash is gonna have Pikachu thunderbolt them to typical stuff. But Team Rocket,
fool, you'll kill us all.
Actually, the blimp is full of gas.
This will cause us to Pika-boom.
We will all die. And so Ash stops it. Doesn't do that.
But
and
this
then
resolves
Jigglypuff
itself
appears.
lightning quick with a Deus Ex Jigglypuff.
Deus Ex Jigglypuff appears, sings. Team Rocket goes drifting off again as they fall out of the door of the blimp.
So, like, as they're falling asleep, they, like, equip parachutes and jump out.
And they fall out of the blimp, and everyone's asleep. Ash and Misty are asleep.
Misty,
where
Pikachu, yeah.
Where will the airship go?
Into dreamland and danger. What is going to happen?
Can they survive this flight?
Episode ends on a true cliffhanger.
And that is the episode.
We don't get, like, true cliffhangers from Pokemon episodes that often, do we?
No, not really.
I mean, there was the SSN one. That was kind of the same, where they're like, is everyone dead? Find out next episode.
That's
like, well,
pretty much as close to this as we would get.
All right. So for literary hour here, the trope that I was thinking of, I think the saying goodbye to a friend is about it, but there's a trope on tvtropes.com, my usual, called I Choose to Stay, which is like that trope of kind of in an adventure series where a character, and usually a main character, like finds a new place that they connect with in some substantial way and then choose to stay there. And this is a really common trope, actually. Like there are tons of examples here. I guess one that popped out of me is the Wizard of Oz books. I feel like I've brought them up before, right? Like you've heard that there were like it's not just the Wizard of Oz, the one movie, but there's actually like a massive book series. Have I brought that up before?
I knew there were books. I don't think you've brought it up on the podcast though.
Okay, I did read a few of them when I was a kid, and they're weird. Like the first Wizard of Oz is like the most normal one, like the thing that ended up being a movie, which I don't think is actually the first book, but it's like the most common, obviously. But they're crazy books, like they all kinds of stuff about the land of Oz. And so Dorothy, the protagonist of Wizard of Oz, right, is going back and forth between Oz and Kansas is kind of what ends up happening. But she eventually settles down in the Emerald City of Oz. She like connects with something there, and then her like aunt and uncle in Kansas are getting their farm taken by the banks. Wait. So she like brings them to the Emerald City.
Wait, hold up. I don't know anything about the books. Does the Wizard of Oz book not end with it having been a dream?
The movie does, right?
Yeah. Does the book not?
Well, no, because Oz is a real place. That
it's a real place in the books?
Back and forth from, yeah. It's like more like Narnia.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I'll hit you with one. Okay. An example. Book of Mormon. Okay. You seen Book of Mormon?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I do want to. I hear it's
very good. It's very good.
That's the end of the musical, right?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. At the end of the play, Elder Price decides to stay with his new friend Elder Cunningham in Uganda to spread the good word of Elder Cunningham's new religion based on Jesus and Boba Fett. It's a whole fucking thing. You've got to see Book of Mormon.
And Boba Fett. Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
cool.
It's so fucking funny. You have to see it.
Okay.
But if it ever comes to a place near you, go see it. It's great.
I will want to. That sounds fantastic.
So
Yeah,
Shall
so
we move
that's a common trope. Yeah, and it like
Yeah.
there are too many examples to name. So that was just like kind of an interesting one I called out.
So shall we move on to
Yeah.
the
So
four
the
pour?
next
All
thing
right.
is the 4-pour, the plastic ping pong picture of objective rankings. We're going to pull 2 categories at random and rank the episodes based on them. What do we got, Kellen?
2 quick orders of business before we get to actually pulling categories, though. Before we started recording, Graham and I talked. We made the decision to take antagonist likability out of the 4-pour for mainly the reason that 99 times out of 100, the antagonist is either Team Rocket or the character of the day, both of which have categories in the 4-pour, so it's just repetitive for no reason. Second order of business, after this episode, Horny Brock Moments is taking a brief retirement from the 4-pour until the next season starts up. That is everything, because Brock is gone, as we see at the end of the episode.
Yeah, so it's not as interesting to rate on.
Yeah.
We might do some conjecture parts where we're like, if Brock was here, what would it be like? But that won't be incorporated into the ratings.
No. So that is the current state of the 4-pour. I'm hoping we can pull Horny Brock Moments one last time, but we are at the mercy of the pitcher.
For good old days.
For good old days. First category will be silly Pikachu moments.
Not
No,
much.
I don't know if I wrote anything down specifically.
I didn't. It's not a Pikachu episode.
It's not a
like, at
Pikachu
all.
episode, no. There's Pikachu and Togepi looking at the ball, and they get spooked by it and stuff.
Okay,
That's a little cute, but
there's when it's hot out, in the beginning. I think Pikachu's also feeling it, which I kind of like when him and Ash are on the same page with things. It's cool. But that is not really what
it's
the
weak.
spirit of that is. That's a 1.
That's a I'm gonna say 2 at least.
All right.
Because there was at least some cute stuff with the GS ball.
Yeah.
All right, 1.5 for silly Pikachu moments. Second category. Oh goodness, Graham.
Oh, what is it? What is it? Did
we
you pull
got
it?
no, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But we did get the pay it forward category, crab combat.
Ooh, there's no crabs in this episode.
There are no crabs in this episode.
It's a 0.
Is that a 0?
Yeah.
That's oh goodness. Well, for
this episode sucked.
Yeah. For contextual purposes, if you're new, we have a category in the 4-pour that is basically whatever we'll give this episode a 10. Make a category for that. And so we made a category. We pulled this in one of the league episodes where Kingler did all the fighting and won. And so we made the category crab combat. And that category went back into the 4-pour. And the rule of these pay it forward categories are if it's pulled and it is a 0, the category is permanently banned from the 4-pour forever. So we can say goodbye to crab combat.
Crab combat has done its damage.
Left the building.
Blew up in a blaze of glory, left its damage. It's gone.
And has resulted in this episode receiving a 0.75 out of 10.
Which might be a new low.
I
right?
think that's the new low. I think that is.
Wow.
Actually, I can check.
That's funny because,
yeah,
it's okay. This isn't a bad episode.
Our next lowest episode is Challenge of the Samurai with a 1. So this is
a better episode.
Lowest episode. Much better
Challenge of the
episode.
Samurai.
I liked this episode. That is unfortunate. Well, 0.75 for Pokeball Peril. Let's move on to episode 86, The Lost Lapras, which we started again with previously
Last
on
time
Pokemon.
on Pokemon, the heroes are about to die on a blimp. How will they escape?
No suspense at the start of this episode. They crash land on an island. They're fine.
Yeah, it resolves it instantly.
Yeah.
It's
They're in the middle
how do
of
they escape?
nowhere.
They don't. It crashes, but they're fine.
They've been walking for miles, and for once,
in a
Misty,
jungle, right?
Misty's the one that's like, "Oh, can we take a break?" And yeah, they're in a dense jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Misty wants to take a break. They've been walking forever.
Pikachu's
There's no one
concerned
around.
about her. Ash is like, whatever.
And then suddenly there's people. As soon as they mention that there's been no people show up. Tourists, old people.
Misty's ready to call it. She's like, there's no people here. We're going to eat bugs and berries forever. Horrible. But then just a gang of like elderly tourists just hit them.
Hawaiian shirts and everything.
Yeah, the cameras, and they're getting pictures of the Pikachu.
Yeah, if we
what
put
a cute
silly Pikachu moments in this episode, that'd be great because these photos are everything. I love it.
I don't quite remember. Was he like making faces and stuff?
Yeah, he was not here for it.
You're right.
He was not here for it. So yeah, they take pictures with Pikachu and Togepi, and then Ash and Misty find Pokemon Park. They found a theme park in the middle of this island.
Mm-hmm.
Pikachu gets a lei. Very cute.
Yeah, it's like a hula girl park, right?
Yeah.
So they like everyone gets leis. And we learn it's called Tangelo Island. Okay, and they say that it's the world's first Pokemon theme park. That's not true.
I mean,
Isn't that
Yeah, okay.
episode with the giant Pokemon that was funded by Team Rocket the world's first Pokemon theme park?
did they say in that episode it was the first Pokemon theme park?
Oh, I see. This could be the world's first Pokemon theme park, and that one came later.
Yeah.
That's what the claim would be? Oh. I just like, as stream of consciousness watching this, I was like, this is the second Pokemon theme park we've seen.
Yeah, I did a double take on that when they said first one, and I was like,
Oh, you're right.
interesting.
This is the theme park's claim. This isn't Ash and Misty saying it's the first one they've seen. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
All right, it checks out, folks. Nothing to see here.
In terms of the timeline of the actual world, this may be the first. So as they're walking down the street, they see a Lapras beached on the sand.
And we've met Lapras before in the Santa saga.
Yep.
It's like but that one had like psychic powers.
Mhm.
Normally a Lapras is, I believe, an ice water Pokemon. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh my
Good
god, I'm
job.
so smart. I'm learning so many things, folks.
And we have 3 very realistic thug type people beating up on Lapras.
This is such an anime trope, like how these
Yeah.
thugs look. They've got like that rockabilly hair.
Mhm.
Hey, what you looking at?
What you looking at? And so, they're beating on the Lapras. Misty and Ash go in for the defense. The thugs say they need to strengthen up to fight the Orange Crew.
Which
We'll hear more
learn
about that
in a
later.
bit. But yeah, they're like, this is none of your business. What we do to our Lapras is fine. We can beat it if we want.
And so
Which
they
is,
send their
awful.
Pokemon at Ash and Misty. They got a Hitmonchan, a Beedrill, and a Spearow.
Yeah. It's going to be
And-
them versus Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu's gonna take
them
them.
all on. Okay.
Easy. Pikachu jumps in, about to blow their brains out, and then we hear a stop from off camera, and a man in a green shirt and a notepad comes in and judges the thug's Pokemon.
He just starts like measuring them.
This Spearow needs to lose a few pounds. This Beedrill's color looks off. This Hitmonchan looks very weak. And then
this
goes
is
to
underdeveloped. But Pikachu.
shining example of
Perfect.
good Pokemon raising.
He compliments Pikachu's electric sax.
That's very
If
personal.
a stranger
Tracy.
pops up and compliments your sax, run the other direction.
But he wants to sketch it, hey-oh, and measure Pikachu's voltage levels as well.
Comedy is dead. You were right.
Shut the fuck up. That was funny. And so the thugs are like, wait a second, they're not gonna forget about us. And they sick the Pokemon back on them. Pikachu lets loose, fries everybody. The thugs go running off.
Yeah.
They saved. Green shirt guy says this Lapras may be hurt. So they,
No shit.
Whoa. And so he gives Ash some medicine to give to Lapras while he goes to go find Nurse Joy. But Lapras don't want to take the medicine. Lapras
Yeah,
is
the
refusing.
Lapras doesn't want to eat it. He's like, hitting the medicine away. Pikachu catches it, which was a cute Pikachu moment, I thought.
Mhm.
But there's something about this Lapras. It is scared. It is hesitant. It will not. It's not going to take it. We don't quite know what's going on yet.
We learn at the center then that this Lapras will be fine. It has no serious injuries, but it is quite terrified of people.
Not
That-
trusting of people at all. And
Not
it's
at all.
trauma based, obviously.
Yeah. And so Green Shirt Guy recognizes that this is a baby Lapras, small little guy. Must have been separated from its her group of Lapras. And then we learn that he is a Pokemon watcher who
Yeah, here
watches
we go.
Pokemon.
This is Tracy. This is the Pokemon watcher we were referencing earlier in this TCAT episode. Yeah, his call, his purpose in life is to travel and take notes. So he takes like drawings of the Pokemon and like stats, I guess. Like this
Mhm.
Pidgey's claw is 5 centimeters. This Snorlax's belly is
20 feet in
20 feet.
circumference.
Yeah. This Victory Bell's scream is 120 decibels.
That seems loud.
Yeah.
So, this is Tracey Sketchit. The 3 of them promise then to get this Lapras back where it needs to be. They formally introduce each other.
Yeah.
To themselves to each other.
And
Meanwhile, Team Rocket's spying in.
Yeah, Team Rocket's watching from outside the Pokemon Center, not very inconspicuously at all. They're
just
like,
at the door.
It's just the main entrance. They're just
They
like
got their
crowded
faces pressed up against
yeah.
the door. And they get trampled by literal children, which I thought was funny.
Kids are running in to talk to Joy, and they
My
just get
Voltorb has
stepped
been scratched. Oh no.
No, their Sandshrew is scratched. Their Voltorb. Okay, the first one goes,
Voltorb is tired.
My Voltorb is tired. I like that one because it's like, that's how kids talk. They just dump ideas on you, and it will like go from like a coherent idea to a totally random one, like lightning.
I just love it because he's like, my Voltorb's tired. Can it spend like a day here?
Like, what?
Yeah, like, what is this, a spa?
But one of these kids mentions the Orange Crew again, and so
yeah, their
Ash
Starmie needs a checkup before challenging the Orange Crew.
And so Ash is like, okay, this is the second time I heard this. What the fuck is the Orange Crew? And Tracey explains it. The Orange Crew is the group of gym leaders on the Orange Archipelago. It's got the same league format as the Indigo. Collect all the badges. You can compete in the league. Trainers tend to start on Tangelo Island, where they are right now.
Conveniently where they are. This is the moment where Ash's view of Orange Islands went from, I don't fucking care about this place, to, oh, hot damn.
This is the best thing ever.
This is my jam. Guess what, Misty? It's my jam.
So yeah, he wants to compete, because Ash, that's the only thing Ash ever wants to do. But they got to get this ball back to Oak. And Ash is like, well, I don't think he'll mind if we make a couple stops.
Oh, cool.
And so Misty checks on. It's like, okay, well, you want to call Oak and find out? Because we're going to fucking find out. We'll call him right now.
Tracy's starting to fanboy a little bit at this moment,
Oak?
too. He's like, Oak? The Oak?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And so they call Oak. Ash asks, what do you think if this were to happen? And Oak's like, well, I wouldn't be able to stop you even if I wanted to. So go for it.
Yeah, he's like, you just do what you want. Whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I want to research that ball, but it's also important for you to get some rigorous training in on your journey. And Ash is like, thank you. I'll also find out what rigorous means.
I like that.
Great. That's funny.
Yeah. Good comedic timing lately, Ash.
Yeah. They hang up. Tracey freaks the fuck out about Oak and how he knows two people
oh my God.
that know Professor Oak.
Oak's my hero. He's the greatest Pokemon expert in the whole planet. If I travel with you, I'll get to meet Oak. She's like, you can't just invite yourself. Like, what?
But he did.
But he did.
And so, meanwhile, Lapras has woken up. Lapras is awake now. They're trying to lure it onto the truck.
Yeah, the whole bit is like, let's get him back to the ocean so this Lapras can find its herd again. So there's this trailer truck contraption. Looks like a military vehicle, to be honest. But they're trying to get it back on. And Lapras will not relax. Like, it's so tense, anxious, scared. Ash's great idea is, I'll sing it a lullaby.
Ay vey.
And he just starts singing an awful song.
But then cue Jigglypuff. She interrupts. She's back stops Ash. Thank you for that, Jigglypuff. We needed that.
Ash was like, anyway, here's Wonderwall. Maybe be the one that saves me. And then Jigglypuff cuts him off.
Like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God. And so, sing, sleep, marker, wake up. Tracey Sketch is ruined.
Right.
Oh no. And so Ash is like done. He thinks the next best thing to do with this Lapras, who is scared of humans, is to yell at it to get on the damn truck.
That is the next step of somebody like extremely bullheaded. Is like, I know, I'll be nice. That doesn't work for 1 second. Fuck you, man. So he dives in the pool. He's like, come on, Lapras. He's like swimming at it. Misty
almost
and Pikachu
drowns.
are like, yeah, be careful. And Ash is like, I'm only trying to help. And it's like, well, we know that. Lapras knows that. When smoke bomb time.
This pool is massive though. Like, we see it through the window or out in the outside, and it's just like a small kind of pool for like rehabilitation purposes in the center. But then we dive underneath, and it's like a fucking lake.
Yeah, it's doing that cartoonification thing where it's playing with perspective a lot. You're right. It suddenly feels massive when before it looked small.
It's the
Onyx effect.
It's the big tent in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire that's really small, and then you walk into it.
Oh, you think this isn't just a perspective... liberalism due to cartoons? You think that there's a magic lore piece here?
Yeah. Under the water, it gets a lot bigger.
Ah. And probably if you could swim all the way down, there's an ancient civilization. That's it. This is Atlantis.
That's where Atlantis is.
The pool in
We found
Joy's
it.
backyard.
Holy
Boom.
shit. After how many years, we finally found it. Incredible.
You did it, folks.
So a rocket now locks in on Lapras, comes homing in, boom, smoke, and Team Rocket have Lapras tied up on their own truck.
Wow, they got him quick.
Very impressive. Tracey, though, is just amazed at the talking Meowth.
I love this bit.
It's great.
Yeah, he's so flabbergasted there's a talking Meowth that he wants to interview him. He's like, can I get an interview? Meowth's like, usually only interviews are cleared by my talent agent.
To which Jesse replies with, oh, you're going to need a travel agent soon. Hey-o.
Hey-o, hit the road, Meowth.
And so James has Weezing smog it up. This is very, very typical.
Yeah. Watch us
as
steal this Lapras, you Pokemon watcher.
They drive off with Lapras. Tracey knows how they can track it, though. They're not going to be able to keep up with this thing on foot. But he knows how to track it. He sends out, he got his first Pokemon reveal, his Venonat, who has radar eyes.
Is this a thing? Is this new?
This is kind of a thing, actually.
We've met Venonat before. I don't remember it having radar eyes.
This made me curious, and I went looking at its Pokedex entries.
Mm-hmm.
According to Bulbapedia, they've been adding some like the Japanese translated ones.
Okay.
It's red and green one. It says this entry was originally untranslated in English until it was reused in Pokemon Fire Red. And looking at Fire Red's Dex entry, its eyes act as radar, enabling it to be active in darkness.
Ooh.
So this actually, Venonat having radar eyes actually kind of was a thing from the start.
Interesting.
Which is neat.
Okay, so yeah, its eyes can detect movement, far away objects.
And also it's yellow entry. Its large eyes act as radars in a bright place. You can see that they are clusters of many tiny eyes.
That is neat. The phrase Venonat use your radar eyes is kind of hilarious. Like, what's next?
Radar eyes activate.
Pikachu, use your sonar ass.
Go Gadget, Venonat.
Yeah, exactly. A go gadget Pokemon would be really cool. Like you know that like Inspector Gadget is a cyborg? Isn't that something that you don't stop and think about every day?
Wait, he is?
Well, yeah, isn't that the whole thing? He's like was in an accident, so he's got all these like robot parts in him.
I've never seen an ounce of Inspector Gadget material, so I have no idea.
Oh, for some reason I pegged you as like a huge fan of the Matthew Broderick live action. I don't know why.
I've never
That's
seen
just
that.
the kind of dumb movie you would like, I think. I think Inspector Gadget is a cyborg, and that observation is blowing my mind.
So as they drive, the gang come jumping off of a cliff on bikes as the electric guitar gym theme rips in. They give chase. There's a good sequence. I like this. Ash jumps off the bike and grabs onto Lapras.
How fast are these bikes? They catch up to this truck so quickly.
Very impressive. It's very impressive.
Either these are really fast bikes or this truck is slow as fuck.
And so he jumps to the cabin of the truck, crawls inside the driver's side window.
Yeah.
And Pikachu thunder shocks him, which disconnects, James leans on like the release button, which disconnects the truck from the trailer.
The segment of like Ash fighting Team Rocket in the cab is hilarious because like we kind of get that Pikachu death stare thing where everyone's flipping out and Pikachu just like pops up in the middle with his like dead eyes and boom, fries him.
So they're rolling towards this giant natural ramp on the side of a cliff.
Yeah, which is like, what is that doing there? But okay.
The front of the car goes flying off, but the trailer comes to a stop right there.
That's Fast and Furious level shenanigans.
Very much so. And it starts rolling backwards towards another cliff.
Oh
Good old cliff cliches. I love them.
It's downhill both ways.
Yeah. And so, using his sheer strength and body weight, Ash is able to turn this trailer around a corner, avoiding the cliff. But he can't do it twice.
He's
even
like,
has Pikachu trying to help.
Tilt.
And they go flying off. Lapras comes free from her ropes. Ash grabs onto Lapras, and they fall into the water.
Well, Ash gives it some reassuring words as they're plummeting. Says, we're going to be okay. And I guess that gets through to Lapras. Lapras is definitely observing Ash's tenacity,
Mm-hmm.
generosity, and compassion during this whole segment.
Yep. And so on the beach, Tracy and Misty are looking for Ash. Venonat told them Ash is around here somewhere. Venonat can
Mhm.
see it in its radar eyes. And on the horizon come Ash and Pikachu riding in on Lapras like heroes.
Nice. And then it's like the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ash is like, "You put up a good fight, but I caught you anyway." And Tracy's like, "What? He caught it?" Misty's like, "Ugh, he likes to pretend." But no, he
actually
did.
He did.
But he did. Yeah.
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 Well, like, I guess a consensual catching, right? Because Joy
Yeah.
kind of elaborates that the Lapras wants to join Ash, at least for now.
At least to find its friends and
Yeah.
whatnot. But also, the gang needed a device to get from
To
island
move
to island.
around.
So,
That's true.
yeah. Yeah.
They and I guess if it was pure in-game mechanics, Squirtle could just use Surf, right?
They could all just ride on Squirtle, yeah.
But that would look crazy.
That'd be funnier, though. That would be better content, I would say.
Right, so it's
But
like
Lapras is cool.
It's like Misty on Tracy's shoulders and Tracy standing on Ash's back while he rests from his pinky on top of Squirtle's shell. That'd be insane.
I also noticed in this exchange when Lapras is in the background with the other Pokemon, Lapras looks fucking massive. Like, this is supposed to be a baby Lapras. That is not baby Lapras.
No, it looks full sized.
It looked
that's
very
why
large.
that's why we the viewers had no idea it was a baby till Tracy tells us. It's like baby Laprases are actually born full size.
Man, imagine that birth. Oh god.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
So they all go riding off on Lapras's back looking for the first Orange Island gym.
Mhm.
And that is the episode.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So literary hour. Okay. It's this theme of kind of you got like an abused animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is kind of a lot about and trying to do the right thing and comfort it and kind of give it a home and reassure it that not everybody is like it. So I think the theme is about animal abuse, and I think it's about trying to be a good person while seeing animal abuse. So the book I brought up is a children's novel. Are you familiar with this book, Shiloh?
Sounds familiar, but I
Yeah,
don't really know
you
anything
might
about it.
have had to read it in school, but when you were young, it's a children's book. Written in 1991 by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. So it's a commonly assigned, according to the TV tropes again, book for reading in schools. But I do remember reading it when I was really young. And anyways, it follows this kid Marty, 11 years old, who one day finds a lone beagle near his house. It's about a puppy dog. But the dog's got like signs of abuse, and he ends up finding that he's owned by this guy, Judd Travers, his neighbor, who forces him to give the dog back. But he's a violent alcoholic and is beating Shiloh. Pretty heavy book for like a young kid's.
Mhm.
But Marty's like doing the right thing and does get the dog out of his care and ends up adopting him and caring for him. While kind of waiting this ethical issue of like, oh, I guess this animal's owned by this person, but this person is treating him like crap. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that kind of aligned with, I mean, this one is like, okay, Ash just like fights him off, and there's not really like a legal issue, but it does kind of feel that like that kind of is analogous.
Yeah, no, that sounds very familiar. I may have read it. Just if I did,
you
it's
might
been
have.
a long time.
You would have been young, like
Yeah.
grade 2 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's not quite like a picture book, but it's like when your first novel kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, shall we rate?
Yeah, let's do it 4-part time.
All right. First category for Lost Lapras will be the originality of the episode.
Okay, well, we haven't seen the animal abuse plot quite yet, have we?
Charmander.
Charmander would be the closest. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, the Charmander is up there.
It's not the first time this kind of storyline has been used to get Ash a new Pokemon.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Team Rocket.
I mean, Tracy's
is
new, though.
pretty normal.
That's
Tracy's
original.
new. Tracy's original.
Pokemon watching is originally stupid.
Heyo.
Heyo. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weak on the originality, mainly because of the abuse.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Team
pointing out
Rocket
the
and-
Charmander episode, that definitely hurts it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go above a 3 because it is
Yeah.
kind of a retread of that theme.
I was thinking the exact same thing. So 3 for that. And category number 2 will be the flavor of the featured Pokemon if it were to be cooked. How would Lapras
Ooh,
taste?
Okay. So there's this stories that there was a species of giant tortoise, okay, from the Galapagos Island that is gone extinct. And the the lore, anyways, is that they tried bringing it back to England and stuff, and it never survived the journey because it was so delicious. And it had like a water sac inside of it that actually had clean water, which was like really important in long voyages, right? So sailors would always like, okay, they'd be told bring it back by the scientists, and would just like get hungry and eat it. Apparently, it was so
Damn.
delicious, but nobody alive now has eaten this giant tortoise. So if Lapras is anything like the mythical Galapagos giant tortoise, I think it's really fucking good.
Yeah, how would the Loch Ness Monster taste? How do we think? Because that's what Lapras is based on, I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure.
know. And I've never had whale. And
No.
I'm not going to.
I don't intend on that, no.
Don't intend on it. I don't know how whale tastes. Like it looks, all of those very blubberous animals, like they I don't know. I don't know. I've never eaten anything like that.
Mhm.
I don't think it would be like fish.
No.
I think
be
it
very
would be
different.
very fatty, probably, but I'm not sure. I think it would be a little bit fish-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't
also
think it would be
just
bad, though.
fattier. I think it wouldn't be bad, but my tortoise theory is really rampant.
Well, I do like the tortoise theory.
I think that Lapras has like a clean water sac inside of it too. Like pop it open like a coconut. That shit's delicious.
Well, let me see if I can find any biological information about Lapras. Maybe we can understand what its flesh is textured like.
What if there's a Dex entry that's like, oh yeah, and that shit is like crack. It tastes so fucking good. You can stew it in its own shell.
A Pokemon that has been overhunted to almost extinction, according to its red and blue.
Oh man, I bet you it's inspired by
So
the
maybe it's
Galapagos
because
turtles.
of we don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's because of flavor.
No,
So-
that's ramping me up. Okay,
You know what?
So
I'm thinking Lapras tastes pretty good. I'm gonna say 7.
I'm gonna go an 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go any higher just because we don't, to account for the uncertainty, right? Like I don't really know, but like I don't have a good analog for something I've
Mhm.
eaten, which is why there's a lot of mystery around it. But yeah, that giant turtle story. Whew.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So 7.5 for that, with the 3 for originality. That is a 5.25 for the Lost Lapras.
There we are. There we.
And that
Have been.
is what we got for you this week.
And that's all there is to it.
Want to know what we're doing next week?
Yes. More
Next week.
episodes.
Yeah, I think so. If you're
Oh,
down
good.
for that.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's going to be 2 more episodes. Episode 87, Fit to be Tied, which I'll tell you right now, we're already looking at Ash's first Orange Island badge.
Oh, spoilers.
Followed by episode 88, Pikachu Revolts.
Ooh. Ooh, that's ominous title.
So join us next Monday for that one.
It's a Pikachu Ash Civil War.
Yeah.
My frail heart can't handle it.
That is next week. So join us then.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been To Kill A Delibird. Looking for feedback as always. Love engagement. You can leave comments on the YouTube channel. That is on HydraLeech on YouTube.com. Or you can email us at tokillat.delibird@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter. That's also To Kill A Delibird. Hit us up there. We got TikTok on Hydra Leeches, as we mentioned before. And then the podcast itself in audio format is anywhere fine podcasts are downloaded. Intro and outro music is 80s Synthwave by Alexi Action. Thank you, everyone. I don't know what else to say. You've got me to tears. No, you don't.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it.
Yep.
Would you eat the giant tortoise? Of course you would. See ya.
Be honest.